Good morning, everyone, and thank you if you are tuning in. I am Caryn Lutz, CEO, founder, and spiritual and transformational life coach at On The Go Talent. Welcome, welcome. On today's episode, I'm going to talk about how we ended up moving to Florida. Beautiful Daytona Beach, sunny Florida. Hello. I'm going to start back in June of 2017 when Joe and I tied the knot and got married in Pennsylvania. At the time, they had just, and this is the story of my life, it seems to be, with the arts and so many others, they had cut my program at the charter school that I was directing at. So I told Joe, I'm like, this is a great opportunity to move to Florida. I mean, we were living in Las Vegas at the time, and it was really awesome, but I think we needed a change in pace, and we really loved the beach. So with that being said, Joe and I spent most of our weekends, because we were both teaching out in Vegas, before here, and we would spend most of our time flying to Miami and flying to the beach here, and we thought, why not? This is the time, and I had my teaching certification for years in Florida. I think like right after I received my Pennsylvania certification, because I knew one day I'd end up here. So right after Joe and I got married, we were so incredibly blessed to have a fantastic honeymoon out in Oahu, Hawaii, and we spent a lot of our time there soul searching. We were there for a month. Incredible. Like I said, we were incredibly blessed with the timeshare there, and we could talk about that in another episode. But during that time, I was doing a lot of research. I would sit down and try to focus on what I really wanted to do in Florida. Like I said, I had my teaching certifications in elementary ed, dance, theater, gifted, you name it. All the stuff that I had worked very hard for. And I knew Joe had to apply as well. So we kind of took the route of starting with the studios first. I applied all over in Florida. So Joe just let me do my thing and kind of apply and see like where we ended up. So what ended up happening is I had some interviews for Tampa area, Jacksonville, and then ended up interviewing for Daytona Beach. So there was a studio that was looking specifically for a tap teacher. And if you know me, tap is one of my favorite things to teach. And hi to my friend Catherine, who's walking. And thank you for anyone else tuning in. You know who you are. Some of you have a significant piece in my music making. So hello. But yes, I was hired to teach tap at a studio, and I really give credit to the past business manager at that studio, because she made it happen. We created such a wonderful relationship. I mean, during that summer, I had a trust, and once again, because we were moving around the country, and I had to just trust. I knew that God would place us here. It's so wild. So, like I was saying before, and if you're just tuning in, thank you so much for being here with me this morning on this beautiful day, on this beautiful Wisdom Wednesday. So by July, we were packing our boxes up and our apartment up in Las Vegas, and we were making our way down here to Florida. So when we got here, it was very, very stressful. I'll tell you, we ended up, it's very hard when you're trying to see where you're going to live from over 2,000 miles away. So we just took a chance. We were supposed to end up at one place, but thank God we ended up at the house that we're at now. We've been here for almost 4 years. Next month it'll be 4 years. Time flies when you're having fun. So that's kind of the story. Ended up teaching at a dance studio out here, and then I got hired for the school district. But as I got hired for the dance studio, that's when Joe got his position teaching high school. So he is teaching history at one of the high schools here, and he loves it. But I ended up applying, to teach gifted, and I ended up being hired late. So I was teaching gifted and working at the dance studio. So that's kind of how we ended up here. As the story progresses, very interestingly enough, the dance studio, I guess their enrollment went down, and there's more to that story. But I just finished out my teaching at the elementary gifted level. And then there was a position, a year later, because I wanted to teach dance. Like, that was my whole thing. And there was no positions opening. But from the grace of God, I guess it was 2019. To tell you the truth, I didn't even apply. Somebody had referred me. I got interviewed and I was hired to direct dance. But last year, once again, they cut the arts, and you all know, I ended up where I'm supposed to be. Spiritual life coaching, helping others, writing my own music. Sorry about the interruption, but as I was saying before, just very, very blessed, and Joe is still at his placement. Very grateful for that, and I just thank God. If you open up your hearts, and this is the wisdom part of the Wednesday that I'm going to share, if you believe in the Holy Spirit will change your life. If you keep an open mind, mindset is key. Thank you to anyone tuning in and watching. As I wanted to mention, one of the, not coincidence, ironic things about how I ended up here is one of my close friends, one of my dear friends, love her so much, Cindy Sterling Pinion, lives in this same place. If you know our story, we grew up in the hometown of Pennsylvania together, and then she even said, how did you end up here? And I'm like, I don't know. I just went with my gut, got hired here to teach at the studio, and here we are, and we absolutely love it. So she has been such a vital part in us being down here as well, and I'm just sending big hugs out to her. And if you're watching the replay, I was talking about how we ended up in Florida. When we lived out in Vegas and we've been traveling back and forth, we did visit California, but the beaches are different there and they're colder. So we knew we didn't want to be so far. And one of the components too that drove us here literally is being a little bit closer to family. Our families are still up in Pennsylvania, so it's more manageable to have a flight or a 2-day drive there. So that was one of the major components that made us choose to be in Florida. You can't beat this. I mean, yes, the hurricanes and some crazy weather, but besides that, it's so serene and peaceful. I mean, I get to see this view mostly every morning. So I encourage you all, and as I mentioned in other episodes, if you have a dream, if you have a goal, stick with it. If you need help, I am a spiritual life coach. I've been doing this for a while. Please reach out. If you want help, if you're depressed, if you want to make a change and difference in your life, if you feel like you're struggling and need to find out what you could do, I work with my clients. My top clients and I really discover their creativity together. It's so amazing, and I'm just filled with such joy that I get to do this and help other people reach their goals, achieve their dreams. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you learned a little bit more about my life and my experience, and never to give up, and really just go after what you want. We are in our own lane. We are living on our own path and our own journey. And it's so hard because the dynamics of the world around us sometimes gets embedded in what we should be doing, and it's those distractions. And when I speak from a spiritual standpoint, the enemy, it's those distractions. God already knows. As I was student teaching back in 2007, and once again, that's a whole other story. My beautiful minister friend I'll have to tag her. She was my preschool teacher, but I ended up student teaching with her. She had once said, because I was in transition at that point, I had the opportunity to teach at a charter school, but I was student teaching and obtaining my master's. And she said, Caryn, because she knew me from a little girl, and she said, God already has this beautiful plan and this beautiful tapestry of your life. So if you visualize that, picture yourself as God looking at this beautiful life path that he has in tapestry. And she said, unfortunately, we only get to see like the threads hanging, and we're left with free will and to figure it out. So just keep that in mind. I want to thank her. She's such a wonderful woman, and we've connected on so many levels, and I never realized that until just a few years ago when life came full circle. So with that being said, I'm going to end in my prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for giving us this beautiful day, this beautiful feeling that I have to give peace over others' lives and to bring joy to them, to help motivate them, to help transition their mind and their mindset and open it up to you, God, and to open up to the Holy Spirit. Never did I think that I'd sit here and minister, for real. I just knew that I wanted to sing. So with that being said, I hope that you have a beautiful day. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you so much, and God bless.